Well, first thing is, you guys always ask me about Michigan, and I always say, I respect them, I don't like them. Last year I had my nephew on the other staff, who I love to death, and this year I had Tum Tum. And I see why I say I don't like my opponent, because every time I like my opponent, we're in a little bit of trouble. But you got to give them a lot of credit. I don't know if they can make shots like that, they're winning that league in the first half. I thought they did a phenomenal job. I thought we did a very poor job. Jeremy started out with 3-4 turnovers. When your head of the snake is that way, then as I always say, when the head dies, the body dies with it. I didn't think we had maybe the same energy. But what we do have is strength by numbers. I don't know how many points off our bench. I guess it's 37.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we've done off our bench in different ways. I thought we had a lot of guys that delivered in different ways. I thought, Jeremy came back a little bit second half. Jaden made some good plays and gets 12 rebounds. He found a way, 6 assists, 1 turnover. Jace Richardson goes 0 for 1, and he might have got one of the biggest rebounds, one of the biggest blocks, and maybe one of the best assists when he hit Jaden on that one. I thought Trey, was really good in that one stretch, and Saudi has a good point that he makes. To be in the zone, as they call it, players call when you make shots, you get in the zone. But our guys must think the zone comes after one shot. Saudi had to tell them it's usually 3 or 4 in a row you make, then you get in the zone. And because I thought we casted up a few. But when you look at the rebounds, when you look at the defense, they were shooting 64% at the under 4 mark of the first half. And so what they shot from then on was dismal, and I think we had something to do with it. I also think they wore down a little bit, and I think that's what we can do if our strength is in our numbers. So I absolutely, love what Todd's done, and be able to come back into this area is pretty cool. Of course, Tom coming back, but I like their team. I think they're tough. They can go big, they can go small. They made us go small some. So it hurt the chances for Book or even Kohler, to do the things that I think they can do. Shimon struggled a little bit with that too, but Carson Cooper, not easy to go 4 for 5, but 4 for 4 from the line. He was a guy that was struggling last year. So 11 turnovers after we have 4 in the first couple minutes is probably not bad, but that's a damn good team if they shoot like that. A big fella, he wasn't Marcus Johnson. He was Magic Johnson there for that early stretch, the shots he made. And then, he missed some as maybe he wore down or we got a little better. But we got to shore up our ball screen stuff. That falls on me and our staff. I didn't think we did a very good job of that. And so we'll improve, they'll improve. And happy I got a win and get the hell out of here.
Hey, Tom, we've been talking legacy a little bit the past few times, so we've had the term coaching tree. You're seeing your coaching tree continue to grow. What does that feel like right now, present? And then even with Tum Tum having an impact, how much does his knowing the family business kind of impact that first half run with them being up like that, not taking anything away from how great Bowling Green played?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Tom didn't make many shots. They made them all. But it is different, It's hard enough to coach against your former assistants, but it's really hard to coach against your former players. I've only done it twice, but only one of them was, a 4-year guy, and that's Tom. And of course, at Butler, Mojo was the other one, but he was only here 2 years. So I just appreciate that whole staff. I thought they played awfully well, and if they don't wear down, and a couple of those guys, that number 14, Towns, he goes 2 for 2 from the 3, and we didn't know he could make one. We were going to be off him, so give him credit. I told him that after. He's got a nice team. If he can keep together. I can't believe they were 5 for 26 from the three. I just felt like they were all going in, you know. That's what happens when you make one or two early. But they play hard. They're tough. Good guards. Nice team.
Well, Tom, you kind of answered a little bit of the question. What did Bowling Green do to make this the toughest double-digit victory that you've got, and what do you take away? What do you go into your team and tell them, hey, guys, this is what we have to prepare for, this is what we have to do better?
I thought we found a way to win by D'ing up a little bit better at the end, by like Jaden getting 12 rebounds. You know, Jace making a big play when he needed it, you know, Trey making a couple plays. You know, our big struggled a little bit tonight too, and some of it was the coverages that we bestowed upon them, so we got to do better. But what did I take away? We were down 10, and we came back. We were down in the second half, and we found a way to go on a run and hold them scoreless for over 7 minutes. Maybe that was part them, but I think it was part us. And, I mean, that was the best or the hardest double-digit win I've had in a long, long time. I would agree with that, because it wasn't a double-digit, you know. It's kind of sad for them. That should have been a 4-point game maybe, because they played us that well.
Couple questions. What was a guy like Marcus Johnson, who's obviously 6'7", wide body guy, comes from D2 from Akron. Like, how does a guy like that, obviously defending, he's got some limitations. How does a guy like that wind up D2 and then Bowling Green? And are you asking yourself that sometimes when you're watching him hit those shots against you?
I was thinking I was in college the same year as Magic, and Michigan State should have picked me up. You know, maybe I could have been that guy, that Terry Donnelly that made the shots. But, you know, Wojcik says it all the time. There's so many good players, and there really are good players. I didn't say great, but there's good players that play with a purpose. And, you know, whenever you're playing in games like this, I remember playing Michigan State, Marquette, Minnesota, when they were one in the country. I mean, we took Marquette to an 8-point game. They were one in the country, and Al McGuire was yelling at them from the sidelines, you know where they're from? They're from the lake, or they're Superior, or the coldest lake. And he was yelling at Walton during the game, and I kind of felt the same way tonight, you know. But those guys are good players. He's unique now. He's unique. And, you know, he hadn't gone in the post much. I think he's harder to guard in the post than he is on the perimeter. And maybe this will help them get him down in the post more, because he's got some moves down there now. We hadn't seen him in the post, so you'd say, why didn't we double him? And he's a phenomenal passer. He's like Jokic, you know. I mean, he can really pass the ball, and they were such a good three-point shooting team. I mean, guys, where we did do a hell of a job, they've averaged 12 made threes a game. You know, that's a lot of threes. So you pick your poison. We picked our poison, and it almost got us. But I don't know. I did say myself, why can't I find a Division II guy like that?
I wanted to ask you more about Carson Cooper, who, you know, probably more meaningful minutes than he has in a little while, and just what you saw from him. You know, I thought, like, during that run late in the first half, defensively, he was really good. Did you see some things you liked from him?
Yeah, he's my best defending big man by far, you know. But as you know, over the couple of years, he hasn't shot free throws very well. Not as good offensive player as those other guys, but he's starting to get better. He made that little hook shot, and he made a nice move on a baseline. But he's my most cerebral guy. He's my most, he understands it most. He helps the best. You know, but there's times we'll play him. There's times we'll need shooters. We'll play Book. There's times we're going to need, you know, right now, until somebody steps up in all categories, we're going to play them by numbers, and thank God we can do that.
Tom, over here on the left. I was wondering, we're kind of to that point, the thought that the starting lineup changed one with Jackson over Xavier, and then when they're hitting all those shots and then they're putting the, you know, taking the game to you guys a little bit early, you're not, you know, not calling any timeouts. Is that just like wanting to see what this team is made of early?
I didn't call any timeouts because the shots they were making, I did not think they could keep making them. And then they kept making them for a while. But, you know, I do want to see what this team, how they're going to respond, what they're going to do, and the lineup change. You know, I'm trying to help Book too. You know, I really am. I'm trying to help Book, and he's had a couple really good practices. I told him 3 days ago that I probably would do this, and you know, now Jackson. You know, as I say, there's reasons you do it too. Some guys are better coming off the bench, some guys aren't. You know, you got to figure that out. I mean, Jackson's been dynamite coming off the bench, and but we've got some other guys that have done it. And Book came in, he hit a 3 right away, and you know, we're just working on how do we get that motor going all the time. And I mean, everybody talks about it, but it is getting better. Practices are getting better. It's a shame that, you know, we've all kind of put him in a spot where, you know, expectations are maybe too big yet. You know, there is a process to this stuff. We go around the country, and especially now when so many of our guys are playing against so many older guys. And so, I don't know the lineup. I mean, it's going to straighten out, but we're 4 games in. What I like is, you know, Trey and Jace Richardson. I mean, he's playing 20 minutes a game. He's, you know, and he struggled a little bit tonight compared to normal too, for him. A couple of mistakes, he was mad at himself, but he's going to be a good player too. So we try to get Kerr in there because trying to get a shooter in there, but we shot it better this week. So I think we'll continue to do that.
7 players in double figures for scoring. Is that balance something you think that can be key for this group going forward?
Well, I said we're strength by numbers, and the only, ironically, the only guy that didn't score tonight was Jason. He's averaging like 11, 12 points. Of the guys that played any minutes, but he didn't get any shots either. But I don't know if we can keep it going, but it sure is nice to know that got different guys that can score it in different ways, and we got to just keep riding that horse until a couple guys break out, start really making shots, and then we'll go from there.
Marcus looked like Popeye Jones.
Oh yeah,
For a while.
you remember that game? Yeah, Matt Stegan reminded me a couple games down at Bowling Green when Steve Smith played. Yeah, it seems like history repeats itself, but I felt that was Popeye Jones myself, you know, and Popeye Jones played in the league, so it's a good compliment.
When Judd, after the loss, there said, "I'll never play those guys again."
Yeah, I feel like saying that too, but I just loved, you know, it wasn't just Tom. I mean, that's the main reason I did it, but I've gotten to know Todd, and, you know, he's a local guy, and I have an appreciation for that, and I think this will help them, and it'll help us. It'll help us. I mean, when you run into these small teams, I mean, who knows what we're going to face in Hawaii? You know, there'll be 3 different teams will play, and at least we've been put in different positions. I don't know if we'll ever get a guy that shoots it. And, you know, I say that, and just think about this. He was 1 for 3 1 for 11 from the 3. It shouldn't feel like that, but some of those shots were inside the 3, and he impressed me.
So final numbers can be misleading. And
Yeah, you know, that's why I'm not an analytics guy.
They wound up shooting less than you did.
Oh, yeah.
From 3-point range and from the field.
Yeah.
But Tuesday night, you played closer than 8 points.
Yeah.
What the final margin was. Tonight, it wasn't a 14-point game.
Right.
Did you play better Tuesday than you did tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I think we played better Tuesday. I just, you know, but you know what Tuesday was? Those couple of plays, you know, a turnover. They had 2 layups on turnovers, the missed dunk. I wouldn't even go with the missed shots. But those kind of things in games against more talented players than you have become critical, you know. And so I think the margin of error was a little bigger here for us than it was Tuesday night. So I do think we played better Tuesday night. But Bowling Green came after us and did some things as well or harder than anybody we played Tuesday night too, to be very honest about it.
So we talk about the importance of getting to the line, making free throws. You're plus 15 at the line tonight in a 14-point game. Is that where you really want it? At rebounding?
Yeah, because we still got almost 60 shots up. You know, we're averaging like 66 shots a game up, which, you know, we haven't done that. Our fast break is better. We are getting to the line a lot more. I mean, we were one of the worst in captivity over the years, so that was a plus. Frankie's helped us in that respect. If he can start making a couple of those threes that I know he can make. Look, there's no secrets. We must be doing a lot of things pretty good. The way we're shooting free throws, the way we're rebounding, assists are good. Can you imagine 20 assists on 27 baskets when our assists, you gotta make a basket to get an assist. If we'd be making some baskets, that would be a lot higher. We're still getting 23s up, which we wanna get more threes up. 11 turnovers, much as we're running and many people as we're playing, it's not bad. Yeah, there's a lot of positives. It's just, I didn't like the way we started, of course. You know, I really didn't. And that was one of the things I looked at, you know, if, you know, I'm not blaming Book or not blaming one guy or two guys, but try to change the lineup a little bit, see what the start is. I wouldn't say it did anything tonight.
A couple more, start with Melanie.
Hey Coach, on media day, when asked about unique alumni presence here, you explicitly mentioned Tom Tom and the help he's been in support to this program. Did he connect with any players before tonight's game, talk to them face to face that he's spoken to previously?
Yeah, we came out of our meeting last night and they were coming into practice because there was a volleyball game, so they had to come in a little later. And he talked to some of our guys. I mean, but Tom comes up for a football game. He comes up for alumni events. So yeah, he knows all the players, and it is unique. People around here should realize how unique it is that, you know, Alan Aganya was here this week. I mean, it just, the beat goes on, which makes me the luckiest coach in America because it happens without me asking. They just come back, and you know, Tom. This will be good for him too. You know, it's good for him to be connected with our people and with me, and who knows what the next couple of years brings for him. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But he sent me a text at 6 this morning. I won't share all of it, but you know, how he didn't like the day. As much as he was excited, he didn't like the day because it's hard to go against someone you respect. And I said, sent it back, I felt the same exact way. But, you know, in some ways, we needed to win the game. It would have been great if they would have won it for them. But I think they'll take a lot away from this game that'll help them. I really do. We have to find things that help us. But Jack's right. I mean, they played it to, I mean, that could have been a 4 or 6 point game. And they deserved it. And so I'm going to breathe a little easier that we got away. But I'm going to give our guys some credit because after that first, what was it, 15 minutes then, shooting 68% and end up shooting 43. And what were they shooting from the 3 then?
50.
Oh, it was 50, God. So we did a good job on that.
Coach, you talked about, of course, they slowed down offensively in the second half, but you guys held them to 29 points there. What adjustments did you make in the halftime to stop them and slow down guys like Johnson?
Yeah, we started getting up on those ball screens a little bit better. We tried to dig in the post a little bit, but boy, once we got it close, we didn't want to give up threes either, you know. So that was a tough decision. But you ask what our players learned from that, but it's also what the coaches learned. You know, I did not think that I did a good enough job figuring out. I never saw him in the post, you know. So my whole staff. So we'll have a staff meeting and say, you know what, whether we see him or not, we better make sure we're better prepared for that than we were. And so that part, you gotta blame the coach, not the players. Anything else? Well, let's go watch our hockey team win a game, and thanks a lot. Huh? Hell yeah.